My question is this. Does the recognition of our true self has necessarily effect on personal life? In a sense, can one expect the life to be improved after having this experience?
Yes, one can expect one's life to improve. Yes. I mean, certainly one's inner life will improve, but because we know that what we essentially are is inherently peaceful. It's like the space of this room. It's completely open to all experience, but not hurt by it, not tarnished by it. And therefore, something that somebody previously, imagine somebody saying something to you or about you that was unjust or untrue or unkind. Previously, it would have been very hurtful. But now, the space of awareness that you are, you don't just understand, but you feel it can't be hurt. Just like it's not possible to hurt the space of this room. Even if you were to take a weapon to this room, you wouldn't hurt the space. So yes, but when we feel, and when we not just understand, but feel that what we are at the deepest level can't be heard, can't be hurt by, for instance, something untrue or unjust or unkind that someone says to you, you feel peace instead of anger, irritation, and so on. So yes, there is a change in one's inner life. Very often we find that there's also a corresponding change in one's external life, although that sometimes takes a little longer to manifest. So there is this, let's put it like this, there is a gradual realignment of all aspects of our life with this understanding, usually on the inside first, in terms of peace and a sense of fulfilment. That craving, that sense of lack begins to leave us, and we feel sufficient, at ease, at peace, quietly happy. And then in time, our experience in the world begins to reflect this new understanding. So our activities, our relationships, our experience of the world begins to align itself, but it takes a little longer. But this realignment process, we can never say it really comes to an end. It goes on and on, but yes, there is a deep impact at all levels of our experience. This understanding has a deep impact at all levels of our experience, but it takes time and it goes on forever.
Do you think in certain cases it can just go unnoticed? In a sense, the recognition of our true self has no effect at all.
Yes, you're right. It can, at least to begin with, go unnoticed. And in fact, that's the best way. That's the safest way. Not even to notice it. Because then there's nothing to claim. You can't say, oh, I had this marvelous awakening experience on June the 17th, 2017. We can't claim anything. So the safest way is for the mind not even to notice that there has been this recognition. But one would slowly notice. Even then, one would notice in retrospect, for instance, let's say 6 months later, to use the example we previously used, somebody might say something hurtful or unkind or unjust to you. And instead of having a huge emotional reaction and responding angrily, you just let the words float through you. They don't leave a trace on you. And then you go home that evening and you think, oh, that's funny. In the past, that would have created not only a huge emotion inside me, it would have led to a conflict in the relationship. Now I barely noticed it. It passed through me. Oh, something's changed. What changed? So you would notice it eventually, and at least if you didn't notice, your friends would notice.
The reason why I'm asking this question, first my own experience, and second, first my own experience. So I've been involved in this since few years, and I still find some areas of my life where I see they're untouched. They carry on as if before this recognition took place. This is one thing.
Okay.
Second,
can I just ask you about that before you go on to the second thing? You've noticed some areas of your life that have not yet been touched by this understanding. Have
yes.
you noticed areas of your life that have been touched by this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so that's good. That there has been a change. It's true that your entire life has not yet been completely infused by this understanding. None of our lives, none of us are. There's always areas, pockets of our experience that could be more and more deeply infused with this understanding. But some areas of your life have been touched.
Yes, but then it somehow creates conflict in a sense. My lived experience not really expressing what I deeply feel. So this.
You mean your lived experience in the world?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So there's been a change on the inside, but your life in the world has not yet changed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That takes longer. It's relatively quick. Once you've seen this, that what you are inside is this openness, this spaciousness, this allowing, this absence of resistance, then that can have an effect overnight. Literally overnight. It may take a bit longer, but it can have an effect overnight. Whereas your activities in the world, your relationships, your environment, these usually take longer to align themselves with this understanding. Sometimes the activity or the relationship that you're involved in will evolve in line with this understanding, but sometimes you will feel that they don't have the capacity, the activity or the relationship doesn't have the capacity to evolve in a way that is consistent with this understanding, in which case you'll want to change, and that will take some time.
Do you also open to the possibility it might not change at all? Like it just blind spot you are not aware of?
Absolutely. Yes.
Takes whole life.
Yes, that's possible. We all have blind spots. Yes, it's possible. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect.
So how was it for you, if I'm allowed to ask?
It's the same. I have my blind spots. That there is this ongoing deepening into this understanding, and this understanding progressively pervades, affects my thoughts, feelings, perceptions of the world, activities, relationships. And I hope that process goes on forever. I could not say that every aspect of my experience, all my thoughts, feelings, sensations, perceptions, relationships and so on are 100% aligned with and an expression of this understanding, that there's always parts of ourselves that can be more deeply and fully pervaded by this understanding. And I also have my blind spots.
Do you notice some patterns happening again and again, although you have seen them happening?
Yes. Yes?
And it's fine.
I'm glad that was the next question. I thought you were going to ask me what they were. So, thank you for letting me off the hook. Yes, it's fine. It's fine. I notice them, and as soon as we notice a repetitive habit or pattern in ourselves, that is already a big step towards its releasing or relaxing. But it takes time. So yes, it's okay. I used to want to be perfect. I used to think that I had to be perfect before I could recognize the nature of my being. And I've failed terribly at being perfect. And it was demoralizing for a while, because I thought, I could never recognize the nature of my being until I'm completely perfect. And then I realized, no, it's not necessary. The body and the mind are never perfect. The only reason we think all the great sages in the past were perfect is because we didn't know them. Because they were dead before we were around. So we couldn't see what it was like when somebody cut them up on the freeway, or they went into the kitchen, we weren't there with them. If we had been, we would have seen that even the greatest of them, that they were not perfect. Jesus on the cross, he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? He had a moment of doubt. And then, of course, his understanding came back. Thy will, not my will, be done. It's okay. He was human. But his essence was divine, like all of us. But he was a man. He had a moment of doubt at the end. It's okay not to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm sure I never will be. None of us will be. I've never heard of anyone that was perfect, except for the sages, that we humans, we have this tendency to project perfection.
Yes.
And this is actually an egoic need.
So do you...
that we have to and I think it comes from a deep intuition that what we essentially are at the deepest level is perfect. So we have this concept of perfection, which is true. We know that there is something that is whole, complete, undivided, perfect. That's a true intuition. The mistake we make is that we then project that vision of perfection, that intuition of perfection, onto a person, and we expect them to be perfect. That's a mistake, and we set ourselves up for failure and disappointment.
So do you feel in this context, is it responsibility of the teacher, make it clear or show it somehow he is not buying up to this projection which is being projected on him, or not validate this projection?
Yes, I think that's important. Not to pretend that one is perfect. Yes, I think that is important. Not to buy the projection of perfection. Yes, I think that is important. But I would go even further than that. I can't speak for anyone else. I can only speak for myself. I think even the projection of a teacher is an unnecessary and unhelpful projection. How many people here, just as a matter of interest, consider themselves to be a student, a devotee, or a follower of mine? Okay, I'm glad only 4 of you put your hands up. 5 of you. By the end of this week, I'm going to ask that question again. And I hope that none of you will put their hand up. But that's good. Only 4 or 5 of you out of 100 put your hand up. That's very good. And no criticism of those. No judgment of those who put your hand up. Because I understand that projection. But to me, a teacher is someone who has special knowledge. Knowledge that we don't have. So if you want to learn about maths or physics or tennis, or you want to learn to play the guitar or the piano, you have to go to a teacher. You have to go to someone with special knowledge. But I don't have any special knowledge. I know very, very little. I know very little that I'm absolutely certain of. And all that I'm really certain of is that I am. And that the being that I am is ever present and unlimited and is shared with all of you and with everything. And that's really it. But I don't consider that special knowledge, and I don't consider it a knowledge that I have that none of you had. The little experiment we did a few minutes ago on being aware shows that just one clear look at your own being, as long as you look clearly at your own being or the fact of being aware, it's a knowledge that we all have. We may have forgotten it or overlooked it, but it's not a special knowledge. It's not objective knowledge. I have nothing to teach. So not only do I feel it's important not to buy the projection of perfection, I don't even want to buy the projection of being a teacher. I am not a teacher. I don't have any special knowledge. I'm more like an artist. When a musician goes to perform, many of you are musicians here, and you're either a musician or, I think everybody here is either a musician and performs from time to time, or you love going to concerts. Is there anyone here who doesn't either perform or love going to concerts? Okay, okay. The musicians amongst you, when you go up on stage to perform something, do you feel that you're teaching your audience something? No. But do you feel that you're sharing a vision that you have? Yeah, you feel you have this feeling, this vision of life, and you want to share that with everyone. You don't feel you're teaching people something they don't know. You just feel you're singing your song, you're playing your music, and you're sharing your vision with whoever wants to listen to it. Or you're a painter, you hang your paintings in the gallery. Do you feel that you're teaching all your viewers something? No, of course not. You just feel that you're sharing your did Van Gogh, when he had his exhibitions, or did he feel, I'm teaching everybody about my vision of the world? No, he just thought, I'm sharing my vision of the world with anyone who wants to see it. And there was no hierarchy. The musicians amongst you, when you perform, do you feel superior to your audience? Do you feel that you're better than them or higher than them? Of course not. I'm like that. I refuse to accept the projection of a teacher. I'm more like an artist. I'm just sharing my understanding, such as it is, my vision of the world, such as it is. That's all I'm doing. I don't feel that I have any special knowledge. I don't feel that I'm teaching you anything. I feel completely on a level with you. I feel equal to you, not above you and not below you. It would be arrogant of me to consider myself a student, giving a teacher, or you a student. It's just not the way I feel. I feel we're friends. And when I'm up here, responding to your questions as best I can, or sharing guided meditations. I'm just sharing my love of truth, my understanding such as it is, and as soon as I step off this platform, I just want to be invisible, just like one of you. I see no distinction at all. Really, I mean this. Honestly, it's how I feel. The whole teacher-student thing, it's unnecessary baggage. It's not necessary to do what we do here with all the paraphernalia of the implicit hierarchy that is contained in the teacher-student relationship. It's just not necessary. Sooner or later, we have to get rid of it. Why not get rid of it sooner rather than later? Why spend 10 years getting rid of it? Why not just not adopt that paraphernalia to begin with?
Thank you, Rupert.